I'm like, okay, if the Lord is placing this creative spirit in my heart, right? And now I love him. I'm dedicating my life to him. In what way can I show my gratitude for him saving me? Right? So I'm like, okay, I love to create, love to paint. Let me just dedicate that to the Lord. Like, I don't necessarily have to go to art school in order to do that. I can still paint, you know? And so I started doing that. I started painting at my church. I started doing like live portraits, like those performance portraits on stage. And I was really passionate about stuff like that. And I, really poured into like showing God, like, God, I love you and I'm going to dedicate this to you. Right. And so here I am, young, on fire for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? My hair was like bright red. I had like bright blue hair, singing in a praise and worship team. I was painting. I was on fire for the Lord. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to find other creatives who have that same passion as me, who love the Lord, who love creativity, and where those two worlds can meet and it could just be like a massive explosion. And at the time, I think this was over like maybe 8 years ago, I couldn't find an organization or a company that did those things, that loved the Lord and loved creativity. And there was a space where both of them could intertwine. And so out of that frustration, this is how God Arts was formed. I really want to create a space where creatives can get together and do both, create and love you at the same time. And so that's how the title God Arts came together. God and arts, the creative arts, dance, music, all of those things that have to fall in the creative arts industry. And then I did my first show. And this is not I didn't have experience. I was a newbie. I only had a handful of friends who I knew could come. I wasn't really expecting much because I knew I didn't know a lot of people, but I knew that my heart space was, I love you, God, and I want to create this space. So I created this little art gathering. At the time, it was called the Creative Alt Lounge. And I gathered like Christian creatives that I met on the internet, and they performed and they connected together. And after that first event, I was like, this is it. This is amazing. This is exactly what I have been looking for. Like, this is something that my heart was craving. And so after doing one art show, I did another show, and then I did another show. And now it's 8 years later. And looking back, I'm so grateful that the Lord orchestrated my life the way that he did, because I don't know if God Arts would have been created in the way that it was if it wasn't for me going through what I went through. Obviously, God is going to orchestrate everything according to his will. But in a way, God moved in my life, even in moments where I thought that he disappointed me, or even in moments where I thought that he left me. He was there the whole time. And he's like, trust me, lean onto me, and I'm going to do exactly what it is that I want to do with your life. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm really super grateful that God didn't leave me at the moment where I thought that he left me, even when I felt like I failed him and I didn't pursue this huge visual arts career of going to art school and stuff like that, that God still was kind enough to be like, no, I placed that in your heart for a reason. And trust me, even though you think you've missed on a huge opportunity, that doesn't mean I'm not going to get the glory out of your life. Okay, so I'm guessing you're asking, okay, Gail, why are you telling me all of this and how is this relevant to me? Well, I hope that my testimony encourages anyone out there who feel like they missed out on an opportunity that God gave them, that God is not going to use them anymore. And I want to tell you, based off of my testimony, that that is far from the truth. God is a God who is sovereign. I heard a quote on Instagram that was like, when God calls you to do something, he factors in your stupidity. Like he factors in the moment that you're going to rebel. He factors in the moment that you're going to fail. He factors in all of that because he is God. He is sovereign and he knows you. And so I pray that this encourages you to remind you that even if you didn't take that dream job, or even if you didn't have the guts to do that thing that the Lord has placed into your heart, that God still got you. He still has you in his hand, and he's still orchestrating his testimony of your life, because at the end of the day, the Lord wants to get the glory out of your life. God is a God who will always accomplish what it is that he wants to accomplish, even if it happens now, or even if it happens now or because of your rebellion and happens later. I feel like I spent my whole early 20s trying to find my identity in everything else. I was trying to find my identity in visual arts. I was trying to find my identity in other careers that I was trying to get into. I was trying to find my identity in relationships. And I feel like the Lord purposely stripped all of those things out of my life to remind me and say, hey, I want you to make me the center of your life, and then I will orchestrate your life according to how I want it to be. And so looking back, I'm grateful that the Lord placed it in me for me not to go to this visual art school. I'm grateful that I spent a period of time feeling like, God, you stripped me of everything. Like, bro, like this is who I am. You know what I'm saying? And now that I place God first in my life, I can't help but to be truly, truly grateful. And because of my love for him, give that back to him, my creativity. I praise God that he found me where I was. And I think it's important for us as creatives to know that we have to make sure that we put Christ center in our lives, not our gifts, not our passions, not our spouse, not our jobs, or anything else, that Christ should be the center.